Hey guys, this is Brittany with Slip to Stitch Chain, and I wanted to get on here and show you guys a pattern today. It is the Anwyn Boot Cuffs. It has really great texture, and I love adding it to my outfits. I personally keep my boot cuffs on my boots almost practically year round because I just tend to leave them on my boots whenever it's not cold weather. During cold weather season, I usually put them around my legs to keep it a little bit warm, but with them on my boots during the summer, it doesn't really affect the temperature of my body. These are a great pattern, a quick go-to with gifts for me. It fits with so many people's aesthetic. You can switch the yarn color out to fit almost anybody's wardrobe. Also, like I said, they work up quickly and they are very customizable, both for width and length if you want to switch them around. I'm going to be getting into the materials. Also, I was going to let you guys know we'll have some links in the description below for some affordable beginner hooks for the size hooks needed, and I'll be back with 1 second with the materials needed. Okay, and to get into the materials needed, you're first going to need a 6.5 millimeter or a K hook. I have a furls one right here. You can use whatever size 6.5. It doesn't really matter, whatever hook works for you. This is just the one I prefer that I have in this size. Also, you're going to need a J or a 6 millimeter hook. Like I said, another furls hook. These just work really good for me here lately. Okay, and you're going to need a worsted weight yarn, medium worsted weight. I'll be using the Craft Smart Value yarn. I have this color in light pink. And you're only going to need an accent color. For the tie, I'm going to be using Periwinkle by Craft Smart as well, medium 4 worsted weight. I really love them. This line, it's really plush and soft, and it's not horribly expensive. Like I said, I'm going to use the Periwinkle. I do have a scrap ball that I'm going to be working out of, just because I'd rather use scraps up before opening a new skein. Also, you're going to need a tapestry needle to sew on your ends, and a pair of scissors. I prefer using a tapestry needle. If you don't have one, you can always use a smaller hook and run the smaller hook through the work of yarn and like slowly, carefully pull the tie through or the tail through. That's what I did when I first started off. Also, you don't necessarily need a specific pair of scissors for cutting your project. I used a pair of craft scissors when I first started, or a pair of basically anything you can cut your yarn with. Like I said, you don't need a specific pair of scissors. I just have these on hand. But I'll be back in just a moment to get you started. Before starting this pattern, I recommend working up the gauge. It is 13 single crochets in 14 rows to make a 4x4 swatch. I recommend working this up so you know exactly if you need to go up a hook size, down a hook size, or maybe even switching out yarns just to see what will work for you to get the sizing that you need. But I'll be back with just a second with row 1. Okay, to start off the pattern, you're going to need your 6.5 hook, and we're going to start with a slip knot. What you're going to do is take the yarn and put the tail end on your finger, and then take the working yarn and wrap it around, create an X in the front like this, and then hold that right there so you'll have an X in the front, bars in the back, and then you're going to take your hook and go into that first loop. Grab the second loop with your hook, pull through. Then you're going to hold those two tails still, and then tighten the loop up around your hook. Okay, and this pattern calls for us to do 20 plus 1 chain, so you're going to have 21 chains. And to do a chain, you're going to take the yarn, wrap it over the hook, so you have this. Okay, and then you're going to grab your hook and grab that yarn right there, pull through that loop. So yarn over, pull through that loop, and you're going to do this until you have 21 chains in total. I'll meet you back here in just a second. Okay, and when you're done chaining 21, I always recommend going back and double counting what you have to make sure you have the correct amount, because I don't know how many times I've gotten halfway through a pattern and realized it was either too big or too small, or I had the wrong increments for the stitch it counted for. So always go back and double check. Okay, so for the next part, for row 1, we're going to do a half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So you're not going to be doing a half double crochet into this one right after, but the second. And to do a half double, you're going to yarn over, and then insert your hook into that chain, like so, and then yarn over again, pull through. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then you have a half double. So like I said, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to do this into every stitch across. So you have 20 half double crochets in total. Like I said, just yarn over, insert your hook into the next hook or the next chain, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now I'm going to pause here if you guys want to meet me back in just a moment. And at the end of this row, I would double check and count to make sure you have 20 half double crochets. So at the end of row 1, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, and for row 2, we're going to make sure to turn our work after row 1, and then yarn over, and we place 2 half double crochets, or we place a half double crochet into each of the first 2 half double crochets. Let me word that right. Okay, so we yarn over, insert our hook into that first half double, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 on the hook, yarn over and pull through 3, and then another half double into the next stitch. Okay, and then here's where we create our eyelets. We are going to chain 1 and skip that next half double and go into the one after. So we're skipping a half double crochet, and then half double into the next one. Okay, and for the rest of the pattern, for the rest of this row, we are going to do a half double crochet back loop only. And the easiest way for me to explain how to do this is, instead of working into the side like this, we are going to turn our work and be facing the V's on the top of the stitch, like this. And the best way to check where the back loop is you, instead of going through both of these right here, you're going to go through that back part of that V right there, like that. So you would yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So yarn over, as such, insert your hook through that back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 of the loops. And it's basically doing a half double crochet stitch, but you're only going into that back loop just to create that ribbing. So once again, real quick, so yarn over, insert your hook through that back loop only, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to continue to do this all the way down the row. We'll pause here, and I'll meet you back from the second to last stitch. Okay, and we're back from the second to last stitch. I wanted to pause here to make sure to cover this. So we're going to continue to do the half double back loop only. Okay, I just want to make sure we get this last stitch. So for the last stitch, it kind of looks like an odd tidbit right here. I know I've done so many patterns where before learning how to properly read patterns, I would end up skipping the last stitch because it doesn't look as flat and neat as it, and I always would omit this, and then I'd end up going slightly decreasing as I went. So I wanted to make sure to cover this. So you'll notice whenever you're doing a half double crochet, when you turn it, you'll have 3 little loops of yarn this way, and that's how you'll be able to tell if it's a half double versus a chain. And that's how I always check mine, even to this day. Say if I'm working a big pattern and it's back and forth and I'm alternating stitches, I'll double check to make sure that my stitch looks a certain way before I move on. And this is the easy way to tell the half double crochet, because you'll have 3 lines like that. So you're going to make sure to insert your hook to that back loop only and do a half double crochet back loop only as well, to make sure it doesn't start decreasing and you get that nice clean even line like that. And like I said, that little chain 1 right there will start creating eyelets for you to weave your tie through. I'll pause it right here and I'll be right back with row 3. Okay, and on to row 3. After row 2, we make sure to chain 1 and turn our work. So for row 3, we are going to do half double crochet back loop only in the first 16 half double crochets. So just like before, you're going to go into that very back loop and then do a half double crochet. So 1 second. Yarn over, insert your hook through the back loop, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So yarn over, back loop only, yarn over, pull through, have 3 on the loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to do this until you have 16 half double crochets back loop only. Do those and I'll meet you back in here in just a moment. Okay, and after you have 16 half double crochet back loop onlys, we are going to half double crochet regularly into the next 4 stitches. So it'll be half double crochet the next half double, and specifically we want to half double crochet into the next chain, not into the space but into the chain. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that chain. You'll be able to see it right there. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through all 3, and then into the last 2 half double crochets. And then you're going to chain 1 and repeat. So for row 4 through 22, we are going to repeat of row 2 and 3 until we have 22 rows. So after this, you'll do the 2 half double crochets. So make sure to chain 1 and then turn. So 2 half double crochets in the first 2. And then chain 1, skip a stitch, and then into the next one half double crochet. And then you're going to do a half double crochet back loop only for the rest of that row. And like I said, you're going to repeat row 2 and 3 until you have 22 rows. I will meet you back here in just a few to show you what it should look like. But I'll meet you back in just a second. Okay, and this is about 7 rows right here. So I wanted to show you what it kind of looked like as you go through, so you can make sure you're on the right track. It'll have a good square edging, but also you'll be able to tell the difference with how to count your rows. So with this one in particular, it'll be easy because your solids 1 row, the eyelets 1 row, so it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I just want to give you a glance of how it looks like and how to count it. And you see that like ribbing detail going on. That's what you're aiming for. Okay. And I'll meet you back here at the end of row 22. Okay, and by the end of row 22, you should have a panel that looks like this. And what we're going to do is fold it inward. And we're going to make sure we have a right side in. I usually just go with the one that looks like the better textured stitch definition. So for this one, I'm going to do, I guess, this side in. So you're going to fold it over. And you can either sew this up or slip stitch it up. I'm going to choose to slip stitch it up today. Going to insert your hook through one side. And I like to do is go through the back loop of the last row we did. And so you're going to insert your hook through both those loops, yarn over, and if I don't drop the loop, okay. So yarn over and then pull through all the way. So, and for this, you're going to want to do as even as you can possible and keep it lined up as you're going through. So like, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through all that and the loop on your hook. And you're going to do this all the way up the side. And you'll do that all the way up, keeping it as even as you can. I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, and I noticed in the last bit I did, I was using the wrong size hook. Either way, you're just kind of slip stitching up, so it doesn't matter exactly. But you're going to chain 1 at the very end after you've slip stitched it all the way up. And then cut a decent sized chain. I like to use about 2 to 3 inch length right there. So when you're done with that, you should have, turn it right side out, and you'll have a boot cuff. And now what you're going to do with the other one, or the other color yarn, your accent color, Okay, and for the chain, we're going to chain 110, and you're going to be using your J 6mm hook. Okay, so to start off, we're going to do a slip knot. So you're going to take the yarn tail end, hold it with your thumb against your 2 fingers like this. Take your yarn, wrap it around, and then create an X. As such, you're going to have the very tail end on the back side, the working yarn in the front. You're going to flip it over. Insert your hook under that first hook and grab the second one and pull it through to the front. You're going to hold on to your very tail ends and then pull tightly to create a loop. And just like with the beginning pattern, you're just going to chain. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And you're going to do this till you have 110 chains. And I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Or you're going to cut off your end from the yarn, leaving a tail, long tail. Okay, so after you have 110, you're going to cut it off, leaving a tail at the end. And what I like to do is take the tail with my tapestry needle. Like I said, you can use a smaller hook for this. I just tend to use the tapestry needle because it's what I have, and it's just the easiest way for me now that I have one to do this with. But I like to run the needle through the chain, like bobbing or weaving it through it to like this to pull the yarn through. I like to get a decent amount on the needle itself, so when I go to pull through, it really conceals the tail end of this. Oops. So what we're going to do is that, and like I said, I just like to kind of grab the very end and start pulling the needle through like such, and pull tight, and so you can see it's almost virtually unseen. What I like to do is do that, and then I'll snip it as close as I can, leaving a little bit outwards without cutting the chain and pulling it. Also for my ends, another thing I like to do, it's not required, but I like to take the very end and knot it up on itself, tying a little knot at the very end, just so it gives it a little more of a clean polished look, and it looks like a little, I guess the technical word for it, like a shoelace label. It gives it that look. But I'll do that on both ends. And like I said, you can use a smaller crochet hook. I've done that before I had this. That being said, they're fairly simple. I've had so many of the metal ones. Every time I go to the craft store, I literally buy another pack of these because they're fairly inexpensive, and I tend to leave them with projects or in the bottom of a project bag and will forget about them. So I like to have a couple on hand. So that, like I said, virtually non-detectable. You can't really see where it's at once you do that. Pull another knot at the very end, give it a little finish polish, and you'll go through and weave the ends in on this and that. But I was going to show you, usually whenever I go to weave these through, I start from the back and I center it, and then I'll work the shoelace through it on one side, almost to the very front. Let's see. Like so. And I work the other side up the other part of this. And I usually run them out the same loop. So center it as good as possible. And you can use these at times like tighter to your leg, because like with any crochet, it's eventually gonna stretch a little bit. I like having this here so I can tie it to my leg so it doesn't slip down after it has a little wear to it. And as such, now you have a cute little crochet leg warmer. Of course, you would repeat this and do a second one. Honestly, looking at this, I think it would be really, really cute for my myself, because these are for my own personal use to go with my pastel clothes. I'm thinking about actually doing another one, but doing opposite colors. So doing a purple leg warmer and a pink shoelace, or a pink lace. That'd be cute. Like I said, you make two of these. They make great gifts. They have a nice, very simple texture to them. If you enjoy this pattern, Remember to like and subscribe down below. Also, you can check out some of our other free pattern videos. They are, I want to say we'll have 1 or 2 linked in the bottom, but also our Instagram, Etsy, and blog links will be in the description below. We also have ad-free paid version PDF of this over on our Etsy. But if you're wanting to also check out, we have the written version available on our blog. Just depends on which format. I know some people like having the PDF without having the ads on them, but that will be over on our blog as well. But you guys have a magical day, and we'll see you in the next one.